High above the mist-shrouded town of Sintra, ancient stone walls snake across a granite ridge. This is the Castelo dos Mouros, the Moorish castle, a fortress that has witnessed 12 centuries of conflict, conquest, and transformation. Built by North African Muslims who once ruled the Iberian Peninsula, it stands today as one of Portugal's most visited monuments, drawing hundreds of thousands of travelers each year to walk its battlements and trace the layers of history carved into its very stones. The castle story begins in the 8th century, during the rapid expansion of the Umayyad Caliphate across the Mediterranean. Moorish forces swept into the Iberian Peninsula in 711, and by the mid-700s they had established fortifications throughout what is now Portugal. Sintra, with its strategic hilltop position overlooking the coastal plain and the road to Lisbon, became a natural site for a defensive stronghold. The castle was constructed to guard the western approaches to the region's emerging Islamic settlements and to project power across the surrounding countryside. The Moorish castle was built with a singular purpose: military defense. Its thick walls, constructed from massive granite blocks quarried from the surrounding mountains, were designed to withstand siege engines and assault. The fortress commanded sweeping views of the Atlantic coast to the west and the Tagus estuary to the south, allowing defenders to spot approaching enemies from miles away. Multiple towers provided elevated positions for archers, while the irregular layout of the walls followed the natural contours of the rocky hilltop, making any attack a grueling uphill battle through difficult terrain. The castle's Moorish chapter ended in 1147, when King Afonso Henriques, Portugal's first monarch, captured Sintra during the Christian Reconquista. The siege was part of a broader campaign that saw Lisbon fall to Christian forces with the help of Northern European crusaders. After the conquest, the castle remained in use as a military installation, though its strategic importance gradually diminished. A Christian chapel was built within its walls, and the fortress became a symbol of the triumph of Christian Portugal over its Islamic past, though the Moorish architecture remained largely intact. By the 15th century, advances in warfare and shifting political boundaries had rendered the Moorish castle obsolete. The royal court preferred the more comfortable palaces in Sintra's town centre, and the fortress fell into disrepair. The devastating earthquake of 1755, which leveled much of Lisbon, dealt the castle a severe blow. Walls collapsed, towers crumbled, and sections of the ramparts slid down the hillside. For decades afterward, the castle lay abandoned, its stones scavenged by locals for building materials, its battlements overtaken by vegetation and weather. The castle's resurrection came in the 19th century, driven by the Romantic movement's fascination with medieval ruins and exotic pasts. King Ferdinand II, consort to Queen Maria II, was captivated by Sintra's wild beauty. In the 1840s, while constructing the fantastical Peña Palace on a neighboring peak, Ferdinand ordered the stabilization and partial restoration of the Moorish castle. He recognized its historical value and aesthetic appeal, preserving the ruins as a picturesque counterpoint to his own colorful palace. Trees were planted, pathways cleared, and the castle became a destination for aristocratic visitors seeking sublime landscapes. Walking the castle today, visitors encounter a masterclass in medieval military engineering. The walls stretch over 450 meters, snaking along the ridge in a double perimeter. The outer wall is punctuated by 5 towers of varying sizes, each built from enormous granite blocks fitted together with minimal mortar. The inner wall, higher and more heavily fortified, protected the castle's residential and administrative core. Narrow arrow slits allowed defenders to fire on attackers while remaining protected, and crenellations along the parapets provided cover for soldiers moving along the ramparts during battle. Close inspection of the castle's stonework reveals subtle traces of the hands that built it. Mason's marks, simple geometric symbols chiseled into blocks, identify the work of individual craftsmen, a practice common in medieval construction to track labor and ensure quality. Some stones bear faint decorative motifs, remnants of the castle's later Christian period. Though the Moors left little ornamental carving compared to their more elaborate structures in southern Iberia, the precision of the stonework itself, each block shaped to fit the irregular bedrock, demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of engineering and an attention to detail that has allowed the walls to survive nearly a millennium. The lush vegetation that now surrounds the castle is largely the legacy of 19th-century planting campaigns initiated by King Ferdinand II. Unlike the arid landscapes of North Africa, Sintra's microclimate, cool, humid, and foggy, supports an astonishing variety of trees and plants. Today, visitors walking the paths to the castle pass through groves of cork oak, maritime pine, and eucalyptus. Ferns carpet the forest floor, and moss clings to the ancient stones. This verdant setting, though not original to the Moorish period, has become inseparable from the castle's identity, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that blurs the line between ruin and nature. Sintra's unique microclimate, shaped by Atlantic winds and mountain geography, creates conditions unlike anywhere else in Portugal. The castle sits within a UNESCO-protected cultural landscape where Mediterranean and temperate species thrive side by side. Beyond the cork oaks and pines, the gardens include chestnut, arbutus, and even exotic imports like giant sequoias introduced during the Romantic era. This botanical diversity was not accidental. Ferdinand and later estate managers deliberately cultivated a picturesque woodland that would frame the ruins, transforming the castle from a bare military site into a monument embedded in an enchanted forest. In recent decades, Portuguese authorities have undertaken extensive conservation work to preserve the castle for future generations. Walls have been reinforced with modern engineering techniques hidden beneath traditional stone facings. Drainage systems prevent water damage, and vegetation is carefully managed to avoid root intrusion into the foundations. Archaeological excavations have uncovered artifacts from both the Moorish and Christian periods, including pottery, tools, and remnants of daily life. These finds are displayed in a small interpretation center near the entrance, helping visitors understand the castle not just as a military structure, but as a place where people lived, worked, and defended their community. The Moorish Castle is one of Sintra's most popular attractions, drawing visitors from around the world. While exact annual figures fluctuate, the castle consistently welcomes hundreds of thousands of guests each year, making it one of Portugal's top heritage sites. Its proximity to Lisbon, just 30 kilometers away, and its inclusion on most Sintra itineraries ensure a steady stream of tourists. Peak visitation occurs during the summer months, when crowds can make the narrow ramparts congested, but the castle's dramatic setting and panoramic views continue to captivate even the most jaded travelers. Entrance to the Moorish Castle requires a ticket, which can be purchased online in advance or at the gate, though advance booking is strongly recommended during high season. Standard adult admission typically costs around €8, with discounts for seniors, students, and children. Combination tickets are available that include other Sintra attractions such as Pena Palace and the National Palace, offering better value for visitors planning a full day of sightseeing. The castle is managed by Parques de Sintra, the municipal body responsible for the town's historic monuments, and all proceeds support ongoing conservation and maintenance efforts. Timing your visit to the Moorish Castle can dramatically affect your experience. Early morning arrivals, especially on weekdays, offer the best chance to explore the ramparts in relative solitude before tour groups arrive. Spring and autumn provide ideal weather, mild temperatures, fewer crowds, and the forest in vibrant bloom or fall color. Summer brings long daylight hours but also peak tourist numbers and occasional heat. Winter sees the fewest visitors, and while rain and fog are common, these conditions can create a hauntingly atmospheric experience, with mist swirling through the battlements and the surrounding forest shrouded in clouds. Reaching the Moorish Castle is part of the adventure. From Sintra's historic center, visitors can take the number 434 bus, a hop-on hop-off circuit that stops at the castle, Pena Palace, and other major sites. The scenic ride takes about 15 minutes, winding up narrow mountain roads with spectacular views. More adventurous travelers can hike from the town center, a steep, forested climb of roughly 30 to 40 minutes that rewards with glimpses of Sintra's palaces and quintas through the trees. Taxis and tuk-tuks are also available, though the castle's parking is limited. From Lisbon, frequent trains connect Rocio or Orient stations to Sintra in about 40 minutes, making a day trip easily feasible. Visiting the castle requires some preparation. Comfortable, sturdy footwear is essential. The walls involve steep steps, uneven surfaces, and, in wet weather, slippery stones. The exposed ramparts offer little shade, so sunscreen and a hat are advisable in summer, while a waterproof jacket is wise year-round given Sintra's unpredictable weather. Water and snacks are recommended, as the site has limited facilities. Photography enthusiasts should bring wide-angle lenses to capture the sweeping vistas and telephoto lenses for architectural details. Plan to spend at least 90 minutes to fully explore the circuit of walls and towers, though many visitors linger longer, captivated by the views and the atmosphere. Standing atop the castle's highest tower, the reason for its location becomes immediately clear. To the west, the Atlantic Ocean glimmers on the horizon. To the south, the fertile plain stretches toward the Tagus River and Lisbon, its white buildings visible on clear days. To the east, the forested hills of the Serra de Sintra roll away in layers of green and blue. And directly across a narrow valley, the multicolored turrets of Pena Palace rise like a fantasy, a 19th-century dream built in dialogue with these ancient Moorish stones. This view, layers of history and landscape converging, is the castle's ultimate reward, a perspective unchanged since medieval centuries first scanned these horizons for approaching threats. The Moorish castle is more than a relic of Portugal's Islamic past. It is a monument that has continuously evolved, layer upon layer, from Moorish fortress to Christian stronghold, from abandoned ruin to romantic icon, and finally to a carefully preserved heritage site visited by travelers from every corner of the globe. Its granite walls still stand firm, its gardens still flourish, and its ramparts still offer that same commanding view that once allowed defenders to guard the approaches to Sintra. To walk these walls is to traverse centuries, to touch stones shaped by hands long vanished, and to stand in a place where history, nature, and human ambition converge in one unforgettable landscape.